Hello and welcome to the Daily Millwall for Monday the 25th of March 2024. Today's Millwall news, it's a roundup show covering Friday, Saturday and Sunday, and I think we're probably going to be back to daily videos probably tomorrow or Wednesday, so the international break is nearly over. It's nearly over. We're halfway through. So, talking about the international break, we have the international roundup from the southwarknews.co.uk. Limited action for Millwall stars in friendly and Euro under 21 games. Yes, very weirdly, Saville and Sarkic weren't even in the squad. I don't think Saville even travelled. I think the only one who played was Brook Norton-Guffey. So let's have a little read and see what happens. So there has been limited action so far for Millwall players off on international duty. George Saville, Matija Sarkic, Brook Norton-Guffey and Michael Obafemi have all jetted off away from Calmont Road to be with their countries during the pause in club football. But so far, only Norton-Guffey has appeared as he came off the bench to replace Manchester City's Rico Lewis in the final 7 minutes in England's under-21s 5-1 victory away at Azerbaijan in the European Championship qualifying. Harvey Elliott scored twice, while Noni Madueke, Jaden Philogene of Hull City and Leeds United's Archie Gray all got on the score sheet. Also, Milan Mijatovic was favoured over Matija Sarkic in a Montenegro goal for their friendly win over Belarus. Mijatovic, who plays for Serbian club Zelinko Pančevo, kept a clean sheet in a 2-0 victory. Sarkic will be hoping he gets a nod for Monday's game against North Macedonia. He wasn't even on the bench, which was weird. I don't know if there's like a limit to how many players you can have on the bench. From the I didn't look that much, to be honest. I looked on livescore.com. I looked on that. He wasn't on the bench in today's game. So Monday, this is being recorded Monday night. He was on the bench for their game today against, I can't even remember who it was. I think it was a home game. I'm just looking it up now. It was North Macedonia, and they beat them 1-0. And Sarkic was on the bench and he didn't come on. So George Saville was absent from the matchday squad for Northern Ireland's 1-1 friendly draw with Romania. Yeah, that was a weird one as well. They had a substitutes bench that was about half what it should have been. About 4 or 5 players didn't travel out there. And I think, namely, was it Danny Ballard was one of those. And it's because his bird gave birth to his first kids. So that was one of the things that was mentioned. George Saville didn't travel out there as well. Michael Obafemi will be looking to get his first slice of action this evening when the Republic of Ireland host Belgium in a friendly. So this story's from the other day, and Obafemi didn't feature either. So he was on the bench, but he didn't get on. So there you go. That's part 1 of the international roundup from Southern News. Part 2 probably coming up Thursday, I'd imagine, after all the games have been played. Now, talking about games being played, there is a Millwall game this week. You may not have heard of it. This is sufc.co.uk, Sheffield United's website. Millwall under-21s are playing Sheffield United under-21s. Big game. If we mention here, so the week ahead, under-21s versus Millwall. Tuesday the 26th of March, 5 PM kickoff at SMH Group Stadium. So what's that then? Well, I'll tell you. Then on Tuesday, it's a rematch of last season's under-21 national final. Yeah, so this is just basically the team that Millwall beat in a final to win the whole league. Sheffield United host Millwall in Chesterfield at 5 PM. So the game's being played at Chesterfield FC's ground. Chesterfield FC, not in Sheffield, in Chesterfield, which is close, but it's not Sheffield. 5 PM kickoff. So there you go. Tuesday. So it's tomorrow or today by the time you're watching this video, probably. Millwall got the better of the Blades at the Den in extra time at the end of last season, and with both sides looking in a good place to win their respective leagues again this season, it's another big clash for both teams. Now here's the kicker. If you cannot or refuse to go to Chesterfield, who can blame you? Tuesday's game will also be streamed live on Sheffield United YouTube channel. So there you go. If you're sick and tired of watching, if you're missing your Millwall, and it's did you watch the England game the other day? That was a load of old crap, wasn't it? So you can watch a Millwall game tomorrow, 5 p.m. kickoff. Sheffield United YouTube. Hopefully the pitch is still good because Chesterfield confirmed that they will be promoted back to League Two. I think they won the league. They won the National League. There was a pitch invasion on Saturday, so hopefully it's still good, but we'll see. So there you go. Now moving on to this from South London Press, londonnewsonline.co.uk. Everyone has to be ready. Millwall boss Neil Harris takes stock during international break. And Neil Harris has not seen any drop in confidence levels after his unbeaten record as Millwall head coach has been ended by Leeds United. The big spending Yorkshire side went top of the championship after a 2-0 victory over the Lions at Elland Road on Sunday. Willie Nanto and Dan James scored in each half for Leeds, who are unbeaten on home turf in the league this season and not conceded a goal from open play in 2024. Millwall started to exert more control in the second half before James's finish ensured and nerves did not sit in during the closing stages. I made it very clear to the group afterwards. It was a very spirited display, but the better team won on the day, and we accept that, said Harris. On the day, you have to credit the opponent and where they are as a football club, and where we are at this moment. 10 points from 4 games now, goes to 10 points from 5 games. We've been to Leeds, Southampton, and played Watford at home, and been to Blackburn, as well as having a real ding-dong game against Birmingham. That is a bloody good points return, and the players should be proud of what they've done. It just goes to show the work we need to do now between now and the end of the season. The players come in on Wednesday morning after a couple of days off and a really good frame of mind and in really good spirits. The lads have gone off on international duty. They've done that with really good confidence in their play and fitness levels. We can really look forward in attacking in an exciting Easter weekend. Mill have 8 matches remaining to clinch safety with 4 of those at the Den, starting with Good Friday visit of West Bromwich Albion. We come back and we play all those games in a space of 5 weeks. And that's what the football calendar is, and it's a level playing field for all the teams, said Harris. We have to make sure that physically we look after the players and what they need. The lads have also played a lot of match minutes for me, need shorter, sharper stuff on their training pitch this week. The lads who haven't played, players like Wes, Allen, Murray, Hutch, Bart, Adam Meyer, Romain Esse and Casper, to a certain degree. They'll get bigger minutes. They'll probably do an 11v11 as well. Everyone has to be ready. It does give us an opportunity to fine-tune what every individual needs. And the lads who go away are privileged to represent their country, and we offer absolute 100% support to them and look forward to seeing them back, hopefully in one piece. Indeed, so 11v11, is that a behind closed doors game? I know that used to go on before. Gary Rowett did quite a few of them as well. Don't know. Usually it gets Bromley though. I don't think Bromley are going to be up for it because they got big. Their season's getting quite ropey. They were up and away. So don't know. Maybe Brentford. I don't know who we're going to play, or maybe they'll just play with themselves. And why not? Why not play with yourselves? Now, talking of international players, Mill boss Harris feels Burnley lonely striker still has 5 to 10% more to come. Jesus, only that much? I think a lot of Mill fans are hoping for a lot more than another 10%. Mill, this is from londonnewsonline.co.uk as well. Mill head coach Neil Harris believes there is another 5 to 10% to draw out of Michael Obafemi after the Burnley loanee completed his second successive 90-minute run out before the international break. The Republic of Ireland international has scored once in 8 championship outings since making a switch to the Den, but Obafemi's minutes had to be managed after he had suffered both injury and a lack of game time with the Clarets before heading out on loan. Millwall not helped by Tom Bradshaw and Kevin Nisbet both being sidelined with injuries, although the former could now be back before the end of the campaign as it limited the rotation options at the sharp end of the pitch, but Obafemi stayed the distance in the 2-0 loss at Leeds United last weekend. Ireland play friendlies against Belgium today and Switzerland on Tuesday. Asked about the fact Obafemi looks to be getting stronger and sharper with each match, Harris told the South London Press, Oh, he does. I was really pleased that he sort of grew into the game. We played some quicker balls forward, which he almost got on the end of at the end of the first half. Gave him a real belief when he opened up with the pace. Second half, we played into him a little bit more and looked after the ball a bit better. We found him in some really good areas around the box. He looked like a really exciting centre forward that was about 90% last weekend. And there's still another 5 to 10% to come from Michael. Fit Michael Obafemi scores a couple of goals against Leeds, and that's where we've had to build him up and be really appreciative. The hope was that we would have had at least two centre forwards fit that would have shared the workload to help him get his workload up, but we haven't been in that position. We've had built him up patiently to play 97 minutes the other day, so that when he comes back from international duty with the Republic of Ireland, he's fit to go and feels in an even better place. Not only has he got the minutes in his legs, but the sharpness as well. There you go. Now we're going to move on to this, which is southwarknews.co.uk, the Loanwatch. Millwall Loanwatch. Watch Nino Adam Malakai's belter Sutton grab a huge League Two win. It is 20-year-old's first senior goal, and it was a total stunner. Yeah, Adam Malakai, you may have seen the clips on social media, scored a beautiful goal and then did a flip over. What do you call it? I don't know. A front flip, I think they call it. Malachi scored a delightful volley to help wrap up a huge win for Sutton United. The U's have been fighting for their lives at the bottom of the League Two table for most of the season. Former Millwall striker Steve Morrison drafted in at the beginning of January to lead the survival charge. Adam Malachi told News at Den earlier this week that he was confident his new loan side would stay up, and they are now just 1 point off safety after Saturday's crucial 3-1 win over Accrington Stanley. Who are they? Exactly. Harry Smith and Omar Shawam, they gave the South London side a 2-goal cushion before Adam Malakai's moment arrived. Midfielder Charlie Lakin would end the game with 3 assists, lofted the ball over for the top for the on-rushing 20-year-old. Playing in a more advanced left-wing position, Adam Malakai let the ball bounce before unleashing a sumptuous dipping volley into the top corner. In his first senior goal, and the youngster celebrated with a backflip more of a front flip, I think, that was almost as impressive as the strike itself. Sutton's relegation rivals Forest Green Rovers lost at Doncaster Rovers, while Colchester United gained an unlikely point away at the league leaders Mansfield Town in the live televised Saturday lunchtime game. Sutton are the most informed team in that relegation scrap. They played a game more than Forest Green and 3 more than Colchester. Elsewhere, Kamal Grant managed 11 minutes off the bench and Bromley shocked 2-0 defeat to relegation battling York City in the National League. Third place Bromley looked very likely of finishing in the playoffs, but will want to stay above Solihull Moors, who are just 4 points back with 6 games to go, so they can receive a bye through the initial round of games. And Carl Smith was missing for Wealdstone's 1-1 draw of Kingdom Minster Harriers, both sides among those scrapping to survive in the 5th tier. And finally, Lincoln City's Alex Mitchell enjoyed the weekend off thanks to the international break. And they've got the goal there. I'm not going to show it. But you may have seen it. But it is a good goal. But what I would say is terrible defending. Because you got Alan Malachi being chased back by one of the defenders. The other one comes across. When he comes across, he stops in front of him and just lets him get the shot off. Whereas he should run through and just kick the ball away or get the ball. He just runs up to him and then stops. Very weird. I don't know what was going on there. I think he was just running across, and then so that the other guy would then carry on and tackle him because he didn't want to take over and take charge of the situation, which allowed Alan Malachi to get the shot off. But yeah, like I said, no, the defending is not the best. I don't think you're going to get a chance like that in the. Talking of lone players, we have an interview with probably the biggest loan success of this season, Alex Mitchell, from the LondonNewsOnline.co.uk. So Alex Mitchell on live at Red Hot Lincoln City. His Millwall future and committing totally to loan moves. Millwall defender Alex Mitchell is on his 4th successful loan stint in a row and admits it is tough to envisage life without regular first-team football. The 22-year-old centre-back is trying to help Lincoln City reach the League One playoffs, and their scintillating form is making it look a distinct possibility. Scintillating. The Imps are on a 13-match unbeaten run and have scored 16 goals in their last 3 fixtures, including a 5-1 win at promotion rivals Barnsley, and then dishing out home hammerings to Cambridge United 6-0 And Bristol Rovers 5-0. Mitchell has graduated through Millwall's academy system and gained experience away from SC16 at Bromley, St Johnstone and Leyton Orient before heading to Lincolnshire in the middle of August. The defender still has another year to run on the Lions deal he signed in August. I've played 104 games now and I've kind of had a bit of a career for myself outside of Millwall, Mitchell told the South London Press. I know that I'm on Millwall's books, so if it works out there then it does, and if it doesn't then it doesn't. I'm not really stressed about that. Millwall have given me the opportunity to do what I've done so far. I haven't really thought about it all this season. I like to live in the here and now. I've still got the year of security. It would be frustrating if I went back to the bench, but it's a step up in standards, even if you're getting only 25 games coming off the bench in the Championship. I haven't really spoken to Millwall, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. Mitchell can tick off playing at so many levels of the domestic game, the National League, League 2 and League 1, as well as the Scottish Premiership. When I'm up here, I like to be up here, if you get me. I feel like you've got one eye on home and one eye on here, then you're probably not as efficient or good on the pitch. The loan has been a bit different. It's the first time I brought furniture up and stuff like that. Normally I just stay up here and I don't really go back home. I remember when I was at Orient, Kenny Jackie used to bang on about trying not to drive as much as possible to save the hamstrings, and he's got so much experience. You learn things from your loans, and that's one that I've taken in. Now that is interesting because we do have a number of players that have hamstring injuries. Are they driving too much? Have we just figured it out? Has Alex Mitchell figured it out? Is that why our players keep getting hamstring injuries? They're driving too much. Maybe that is it. Most informed clubs bemoan a disruption to their rhythm, and Red Hot Lincoln do not have a fixture this weekend due to the international break. They resume at home against the O's on Good Friday, hunting a 7th victory in 8 matches. I think you could always tell that once we clicked, then it would be in a good place, said Mitchell. We always have a good defence, and it's easier not to concede goals when you're scoring a lot of them, because teams don't want to attack as much. It's been decent, 13 games unbeaten and only 4 goals conceded in that time. And we've done well to get to this stage, but there's no point them bottling the last 7 games. These are the ones that we're in a privileged position to achieve something. Barnsley away was a bit of a statement about what we can do. We're 2 points behind the playoffs and we've got to play Oxford. I don't think you can get fixated on the table. You have to be aware, but concentrating on one game at a time is the best way of looking at it. We are where we are now is an achievement. I'm enjoying it and I've played a lot of games. When you grow up in the academy system, you kind of live in a bit of a bubble. You don't realise how privileged you are to play football. For some reason, when I came here, maybe I've been reminded of that. I enjoy going into training and being around Lincoln. It's a real privilege to do what I do. While Mitchell's been away from Millwall, there have been 3 managerial changes. It's been an eventful campaign for the South London club, and there are still twists and turns to come in their quest to consolidate their position in the Championship. So how much has Mitchell kept track of life back at the Lions? To be honest, not a lot, he answered. Obviously you're aware of the manager's situation, but I don't really watch football too much. I don't really pay too much attention to any football. I'm normally too tired. I like a good series. I've recently binge-watched The Gentleman on Netflix, which was really good, and not been concentrating on the football. I think you can get a bit footballed out. It's always good to have a bit of a break. It has to be light-hearted because I'm normally falling asleep to whatever I watch. Mitchell will be switched on where it counts, on the pitch. There you go. Now, moving on to this from the SuffolkNews.co.uk. This is a really good piece about the battle for relegation, who's still in it, and the games they've got to play. It's kind of weird timing to have it got put up on Saturday. Maybe Wednesday or Thursday of this week would have been better. But hey, it did get a lot of views. It got 2,800 views, so... comparing the difficulty of Millwall's final Championship fixtures to their relegation rivals, who is staying up and who is going down? The answers could lie in the difficulty of the upcoming games. And if that's the case, then it would be Blackburn Rovers. Once the international break is over, we are into the final set of games in the 23-24 season. With such a congested bottom half of the table, who plays who could prove to be crucial in deciding who will avoid relegation, even when taking into account the Championship's famous unpredictability. And Neil Harris has managed to give Millwall a huge boost since returning as head coach last month, and yet the Lions still find themselves just 4 points clear of relegation. Here are their final fixtures and those of the relegation rivals below them. So there's the table as it stands now. That's from BBC Sport. Yes, 39 points is the current standard, with a minus 19 goal difference. Gary Rowett's gone into Birmingham City to try and save them. Hopefully, like I said, that's not a Mill's expense. But there are a lot of teams below us. There's quite a few. We've got one: Blackburn, Plymouth, Stoke, QPR, and Birmingham. So that's 5 teams between us and the relegation zone. So as long as they don't utterly collapse, then we should be fine, because I don't think all of those teams will just keep winning and winning and be able to claw back the 4 points and then extra on top of that. So here we go. Mill's league position is 16th. We've got to play West Brom, Rotherham, Huddersfield, Leicester, Cardiff, Sunderland, Plymouth and Swansea. Now that Huddersfield game will be a massive game. Hopefully the Rotherham game, we win that. I think we need about 3 more wins. So if we win the Rotherham game, even though it is a away game, it's not going to be easy, because they put on a shift last week against Huddersfield. Like, they're basically already relegated. You would think, but they keep on keeping on. They're not giving up. And then we got that game against Huddersfield, and that will be massive, because if we beat them, it kind of condemns them. And it's a boost away. It's the point swing, the 6-point swing. Not only do we gain 3 points, but we prevent them from getting 3 points. So that will be a massive game. And then you would hope that, Leicester at home, that could be anything, like Cardiff at home. If we win that one as well, so if we beat Rotherham and beat Huddersfield and beat Cardiff, I mean, that should be done and dusted. I don't want it to go really to the last 2 games of the season, and hopefully it's done before then. So the 44 points have been needed on average to stay up over the last 10 seasons. Will almost certainly not be enough this season. But with trips to struggling Rotherham United and Huddersfield Town around the corner, and the home game against Plymouth Argyle to come, there are enough winnable fixtures there for the Lions. They are also fortunate that all of their games against teams going for promotion, West Brom, Leicester City and Cardiff, are at home, where Harris has slowly been turning the form around. Difficulty rating of the fixtures 5 out of 10. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. So Blackburn are in serious trouble in their form over the last few months. They will just win 1 win in 2024 is cause for concern to Rovers fans. Even more worrying is their fixture list, with all of the top 4 and 8th place Coventry still to come. Sheffield Wednesday are the only ones at the bottom 10 who they still have left to play, and their difficulty rating is 9 out of 10. Plymouth have lost 6 of the last 9 games and have still not found their footing under Ian Foster, but their home form has been a strong point this season. They will believe there are points to be won against Bristol City, QPR and Leicester and Hull at home park. Like Millwall, Argyle will not be in the bottom 3 all season, but will need a strong end of the season to keep it that way. Difficulty rating 4 out of 10. Stoke have dipped their toes in the shot with waters of the relegation zone in recent weeks, but have picked up big wins against Middlesbrough and Preston to move up to 19th. With games against Huddersfield, Sheffield Wednesday and Plymouth to come, they have some crunch games against relegation rivals around the corner. Difficulty rating 7 out of 10. QPR, Queen's Park Rangers. Marty Fuentes has masterminded QPR's revival, but there's still more work to be done. Their first 4 fixtures look fairly friendly, and they are best advised to get the job done early, given the awkward last 4 fixtures that await them. Difficulty rating 8 out of 10. Birmingham City. For Birmingham City and the new boss Gary Rowett, remember him? It may come down to 3 huge away games. QPR at first, and then later trips to Rotherham and Huddersfield. All of the other fixtures look tricky on paper, but the new manager bounce may serve them well. Difficulty rating 8 out of 10. Huddersfield, Andre Breton-Ritter took over as Huddersfield boss on February the 15th, and so far has 1 win, 2 draws and 2 defeats to his name. 5 of Huddersfield's remaining fixtures against teams in the bottom half, but with the second fewest wins in the league for the Terriers, they will need to start turning some of those draws into wins or risk going down. Difficulty rating 7 out of 10. Sheffield Wednesday fixtures look favourable as they've been on a great run of form before they lost to Leeds United, and their 6-0 hammering against Ipswich last Saturday. Facing Sunderland on the final day of the season could potentially be decisive, given the Black Cats are one of the few sides who you can almost guarantee won't be fighting for anything. Difficulty rating 3 out of 10. So what do we think? Who's going down? Stoke. I think Stoke maybe. And probably Huddersfield as well, to be honest. Probably. Now, moving on to this from the southernnews.co.uk. Millwall fans panel, favourite Lions legends, where did it go wrong for Joe Edwards and who's getting relegated? With the international break giving us all a chance to reflect, Lions fans have been picking apart the news in the last few weeks. Welcome to another edition of the News at Den Fans panel. Every few weeks we'll be talking to some of our 7 members, all lifelong Lions fans, to gauge their views on Millwall football, sport and the world at large. Joining us this week are the Estates Manager Matt, 41, and Markets Risk Manager Tony, 51. Tony's up first. You've seen Neil Harris over 4 years before as manager. What do you think of his reappointment, and how favourable do you remember his first reign between 2015 and 2019? Like many, I felt a change was needed, otherwise we were heading for certain relegation. I was very surprised with Neil Harris's appointment, but can see the logic as he knows the club, knows the players, and will rally the fan base. Personally, I don't care about the quality of the football now. I care about the results and getting over 50 points as quickly as possible. Relegation will be catastrophic. However, there needs to be a proper review in the summer with some accountability. In some ways, his return is similar to 2015 in that we were a mess, but at least this time is not too late. Last time he rebuilt the club from the disaster of here and Wallaway and gave us some amazing times. He really knew how to use a full den and how to get a Millwall performance. He also got his leaving right, both in timing and how he did it, which showed me that he cared. Given Harris's return, it got me thinking about the club legends from only players you've watched live, so nobody from the 1920s, for example. Give me your top 3 favourite Millwall players and why. Tough question, but from the last 30 years, I would say Terry Hurlock, a far better player than given credit for. Tim Cowell, who can forget his big game goals, and Etienne Verveer for New Year's Day against Crystal Palace. I still smile whenever I see Gareth Southgate. It's looking increasingly likely that the Mill will have enough to stay up, but they're only 4 points clear of the bottom 3 at the moment. Which 2 clubs do you think are going down alongside Rotherham United? So this is what I said just a moment ago. I think it's probably going to be Stoke and Huddersfield. What does Tony 51 think? I agree we're moving in the right direction, but I don't want to be complacent. I think the current bottom 3 will be relegated to Rotherham, Sheffield Wednesday, who have a terrible goal difference to Huddersfield. I would have said Birmingham, but I think appointing Gary out was a smart move, and he'll keep them up despite their awful form. There are 8 games left in the Millwall season. Which Lions players would you most like to have a strong into the season, and why? I think when Zion Fleming's firing, so did Millwall. I also think Michael Obafemi's starting to get fit and he looks a good player, and we need the goals. And finally, Neil Harris mentioned before the Leeds game that he believes the Ellen Road atmosphere is up there with the Dens. What's the best atmosphere you've experienced away from home? Oh, so many to choose from. Personal favourites for me were mid-90s Cup games at Chelsea, Arsenal and Forest. I also smile about a Thursday night game against Portsmouth around the turn of the millennium, where we spent the entire 90 minutes chatting about the private life of their then coach, who had recently been in the papers. That is Graham Ricks, sex offender. Graham Ricks, sex offender. Graham Ricks, sex offender. Fantastic times. We probably couldn't do that now. You'd get arrested and thrown in jail. Tragedy chanting or some other nonsense. But it's the truth, isn't it? He was arrested. Did he get charged? Did he get convicted? Who cares? He was in the newspapers, so we're allowed to say it. If the Sun could put it on the front page, why can't we sing it for 90 minutes in a football game? Am I right or am I right? So let's move on to Matt's answers. Not the same questions, different questions. What did you make of the Leeds game last week? I don't think any Millwall fan at the beginning of the game was expecting a win. More the case of how many we could contain them to. During the game, I felt we did very well. At one point, we could have nicked a point. But Leeds are up there for a reason. Some players, I feel, the occasion got to them, and that needs to be addressed. I don't think it was a case that we were just trying to contain them. I think we had to play differently. I think we tried to have a go in the second half and it didn't really work. That Ellen Road loss aside, it's been quite a formidable turnaround Neil has managed from a side that looked on the floor after the Sheffield Wednesday loss. Why are you surprised by how quickly he was able to turn it around? Oh, not really. Mill had to hack swiftly after the Wednesday loss, and when that happened, there would not be any managers on the market at the time who have experience of keeping teams in the same division. The days of Sam Allardyce, Mick McCarthy, it's all long gone, and you can see that when Neil Warnock went to Aberdeen and did not succeed. So, who do you turn to? Harris was the obvious choice, a surprising choice, nonetheless, as he was doing well at Cambridge. Given Harris's return to Millwall got me thinking about club legends. So he's got to pick his three favourite players that he's seen. And so his are Casey Keller. I always loved the goalkeeper and played that position, so much that I even coach other goalkeepers. He was my idol growing up and an inspiration to be a goalkeeper. Teddy Sheringham, the man, not only a proven goal scorer, was so technical and had the best footballing brain I can imagine. Teddy not only scored goals but could find a clear pass for an opening and find the exact position to receive the ball. Not blessed with pace, but sheer intellect of the man was one that made him a cult hero for the club, despite playing for West Ham in later years. And Tim Cahill, again, the same with Teddy. The brain on this guy was one of a football genius. His work rate and ability to get all the players involved made him a true hero. But the main reason he's for my hero was for the fourth. Look it up. We've had a few weeks to digest Joe Edwards' departure. What do you think went wrong for him? Oh, I feel sorry for Joe. His coaching philosophy is one that we would like our teams to play over, to change from the style both under Neil Harris and Gary Ray used to the style of Joe Edwards will not be a quick fix. It needed a lot of time and it also needed a complete squad change. I feel sorry as this should not happen mid-season. This should have been done in the close season, then Joe could have had a pre-season with players they could get a tune out of. There's no doubt he's a great coach and will learn from his time at Millwall and will go back into management somewhere else and see results, in my opinion. The players obviously didn't play for him, which in my opinion is shambolic. Then there probably was some senior players who let their feelings hurt, but that's football, it happens in all clubs. And finally, Mike Tyson is taking on Jake Paul on Netflix for some reason. Will you be watching? No, I'd rather watch EastEnders. Well, there's a weird question to ask in there, but is that on soon? When is that? I thought it was in July or something, was it? Yeah, I don't think Joe Edwards is going to do anything in football. He didn't even want the Millwall job, like they approached him. I think he's been burned by this, and if he jumps back into a job that he doesn't really want, just to prove a point to someone or somewhere else that he's an actual manager, I don't think it's going to work out well. I think he's the type of guy that could be probably a very good number 2 at a Premier League team or a big club in the Championship. But as the top man, the main man, the leader, I don't think that's gonna happen for him. Sadly, I think if it was, it would have happened already, because he was in a group of coaches at Chelsea, and a lot of them have already left and gone and done their own thing. Michael Beale, Clement, even what's his name, the guy at Celtic now, Brendan O'Neill. Is that his name? Yeah, so they've already gone, and he was the last one there. He was the last one to leave. He only left when the takeover happened. So I don't know if that was if he decided to leave or he was pushed. I don't think I don't think that's his bag. I don't think his being a manager is what he's up to. So there you go. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.